think I got it.
Cool.
We're live.
We're live?
I think we're live.
Good job.
This meeting is being live streamed.
Well.
Did you all get the minutes? If not, they're available.
Yeah, I reviewed them online this morning, I think about 6 or 5:30.
Yeah.
We are in need of another Republican clerk to come in part-time and help. Anita is now working full-time for that family, so.
Don't tell her to quit, we need her here.
Well, I would love to do that because I don't have to train her. But unfortunately, I think that family needs a little bit more to her right now.
And money probably is a little bit more important too.
And I'm sure the money's a lot better than what
That's,
we're
that might be
willing to pay
the
her.
primary thing right there.
Exactly. So Sheila is starting to come in next week. So,
Mike, you know anyone offhand who might?
To come in and clerk.
yeah. These are the applications we have already processed.
Kelly Cox, maybe, from Belpre.
Kelly would be
That's a
good.
good idea.
Kelly's, yeah,
She's a responsible adult.
yes, she is.
She sure is.
And these
That's a great idea.
are the
Did you
applications
see
we
what
get to
Kelly-
process.
That you have? I don't know,
Have
you
not.
might have to get her a booster.
What's that?
I asked if she could see over.
See if I
know. Kelly.
Kelly, we love you.
We love you. We do. Yeah, I want to make it worth her while driving from Belpre. So, I don't know, don't ask me
She
that.
would be quite good though.
Yeah, she would, I think she would. I've worked with Kelly in the past. So do you want to reach out to her?
Sure.
Okay. So she can call me or Mandy, either one.
How many hours a week are we thinking?
But definitely when early voting starts 40.
Okay.
If we're still, because that way, if we get 2 of them on board, we'll let the clerks and those 2 be able to do these absentee check-ins, and Mandy and I can start working on things that we also need to do.
Well, that is the correct one. It just shows all the changes that were made. For some reason, it was marked on the, on Word
Right,
to show all the changes.
priors, yeah,
but you
okay.
didn't need
That make-
them. Yeah.
I think I got us on, Mandy.
In one
Okay.
sense, that's a good thing, really. That's what.
So the new one's printing, or the one without that.
Well, I think we're live,
good?
so let's go ahead and pledge. and
Robin just pulled in,
We
so.
can start doing
Oh,
it.
There we go.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, one and all, to the September 14, 2022 meeting of the Washington County Board of Elections. We have a member of the public, but also part of our workforce. Mr. Weber is present. Did you have any comment you wish to share with us?
Well, I think that that from my experience, the August primary went as well as we could expect. Of course, there were a lot of people unaware, but we still had a good number of turnout at Church of the Naz where we consolidated so many voting locations. It turned out well from my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I think our performance looked good as far as, getting through stuff and so forth. Good. Certainly is an expensive proposition.
Yeah.
What we have, 6%, almost?
Five.
Almost
It was like
5%.
five,
Oh, yeah, it was 4.89 or
Yeah,
something.
something like that, or 4.9, or,
What was the average over the state, you know?
I don't know.
It was 6,
I was gonna say, I don't think it
it
was
was a
much
little higher,
higher.
it was a little higher than ours.
I don't think it was,
Yeah,
too much.
Okay. Minutes, I think they're typed up and they were also online.
spent a lot over the summer.
I didn't see any corrections.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from August 23rd. Oh, they're not in order. August 17th, August 2nd, July 27th, July 6th,
Second.
2022.
Have a motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes. Bills. What's our annual license run back? Is that on our
That's,
amount to the Balatar type?
yeah, that's our ballot printer, so they charge that, and that's the same, as last year.
Right.
That didn't change.
And
That says September 1st to August 31st of the
Oh, it's
same
supposed to
year.
be of 23 for the August 31st of 23. And the one for the Kyocera printer, same thing, it's supposed to be 9/28/23. And then we ordered, from the Graphic Village, that's what used to be, Barrett Brothers. And now it's changed to Graphic Village, and we ordered 2 boxes of provisional envelopes from them because we were about getting low.
What do we usually go through in a large election, let's say?
I think for the last presidential, we had like 800 provisionals. So, and we still have some envelopes, this was just a, the supplement.
So they carry over year to year?
Yeah, they're the same.
well, they can,
They
because there
can, yeah,
can be changes.
because it's, basically, they're an envelope with the form from the Secretary of State's office.
Right.
So if they change the form enough, then we would potentially have to buy new ones. They haven't changed it for a little while.
I was gonna
so.
say, and they tend to give you some warning on it, because again, it's the whole issue of you have a stock up.
Right, so you have time to order and,
Yeah, get the newest version.
The RBM bill, does that cover both primaries?
no, that's just for August.
And
And it's.
do you have access
But we get paid,
to the last 3 or 4?
Yeah, we'll be able to use the grant money for,
Right.
but this was the, if anyone wanted to,
Does that have the
it has it somewhat,
itemized?
broken down there, if
Right.
anybody wanted to look at.
Yeah, I definitely am curious.
How many
When it
days?
says quantity, I'm guessing that's days.
Yeah,
So special coding took 6 days
for
for,
the ballot, yeah, because there was,
Yes.
because,
unfortunately, yeah, things were,
We had some problems with issues with coding for some reason on that, but I think everybody did.
So it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
what, the language changed?
I don't know if it was that or just the setup because of the different ballot styles. I'm trying to recall now. I can try to get Ryan on the phone and see.
Yeah, I remember what all we,
I mean, I guess I'm just looking at it, wondering, you spend 6 days on an election that's got about 5 names on it.
one, I know he had the House District wrong, and then he had to go back and fix that. So, because I had noticed that he had it wrong, he had it with the old,
But this is only for our county, it didn't include the other
yeah,
counties.
this is just us.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess I just don't recall seeing a $20,000 bill for presidential.
I thought it was a mistake in terms of typing.
I was gonna say, I
That's all
think in May, actually, it was the same, about the same,
20,000.
May of this year, yeah.
So absent the specials, we're paying about $42,000 for them to do 2
Yeah.
elections.
Yeah.
And what that includes what, arming or the poll books?
No, not the whole books.
No, they
So
just do
that's,
the.
that's knowing or us,
Yeah, right.
right? So that's another expense to the extent knowing charges us.
Yeah, they mostly, they don't really charge us anything, knowing doesn't, we do that pretty much ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah, because it's
We
just
just pay
updating
their
the whole
annual fee or
ads.
whatever, but,
so
just
this
for their
is,
service,
right.
but yeah,
Uh,
for election, there's not a,
So this is to put this on a flash drive?
well, it's on the computer in there, and then we put it on a flash drive to upload it to the
Upload
voting.
it to the voting machine.
Yeah.
Right, so he puts it on a computer, we uploaded it,
And then it makes it so we can tabulate our results.
right,
And this was the LNA testing to make sure the machines worked right,
right,
the election day support,
right,
and all of that.
right. All right, any other questions? Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to accept the bills as presented.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes.
All right, and then correspondence, we just had a couple things. There, we also had, it didn't get on the agenda, but from, for the 94th House District, we had, or well, we printed off from the state, the Secretary of State's decision regarding the tie vote of Brother Tanya Conrath to be on the ballot for the 94th House District to replace Ryan Goodman.
Right.
So that information is there. We did have an email this morning when I came in from Debbie Quibby from the Athens County Board of Elections, saying that LaRose broke the tie to not against certifying Tanya. And so they did not appear on our ballot. So I just printed off one of those emails. I think it's pretty simple, but it's
Yeah,
kind of what's
well,
that.
it's kind of,
I mean, it goes with the
goes
decision,
with
the type of decision, but
So the only alternative the candidate has now is to go to the
Go
Supreme
to the
Court.
board, yeah. I'm disappointed. I just want to say that for the record. I'm very disappointed.
I am too. But, so that, we send out UOCAVA next Friday. I heard, I asked Dennis and he said, well, right now we do what we're told and there's no candidate. But I don't want to waste money coding a ballot that doesn't have a candidate and then the Supreme Court would allow her to be on the ballot and we have to get it coded again.
right,
So I don't know if we should tell RBM, code everything. Ryan talked to me about midnight last night, so he was running on less than 50 hours sleep for the last week, so. He said that we are a priority, but we may be the last ones that he does, but he'll have it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it could go either way. I mean,
And it could go either way.
the Supreme Court may decide she can't be on the ballot, and then we'd still have to take her off if we put her on. So, I mean,
Remind me
Yeah, I
how
don't know
Katie
which-
O'Neill, how all that, because I wasn't here then. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember Robin, Katie O'Neill, when she filed and
They acted pretty quickly.
they did?
Yeah, oh yeah, well, they know the ballot deadlines.
Mhm.
and I think that was not as close. It wasn't as close to time when the ballot was gonna be ready. I think
Well,
it
that
was
probably is
time.
true because we didn't have a late primary.
Right.
But they did, they recognized the
So-
timeframe.
So
What happened to the other people who were also in the same boat?
my understanding is, I heard that there were 4 other districts in Ohio that the boards went ahead and certified their ballots, or certified the candidates, and they were allowed to be on.
So everybody but her got on?
I don't know that for a fact, that's just all I've heard, so
And I don't know either.
I'm-
I haven't heard anything.
I'm going to do my
Okay.
own research today and try to find out what that is, that obviously if there was a precedent set. I mean, I thought maybe we could go ahead and vote on something today, but I don't think we can because there's nothing really to vote on, I guess.
There is no candidate
Well, and since we're not the most populous,
to boot. And again, we've been told by the most populous the result. So, and frankly, I think we're in a better position to ask for state money if we just do what we're supposed to do at this juncture, and then if the Supreme Court says, no, add this person, and we have to spend the money. I'd much rather be in that position than go ahead and do something. The Supreme Court says, no, leave it alone. There won't be a contested race, and now we're trying to take it off. And someone will be asking, why are we spending money on something that we weren't supposed to do in the first place?
Well, can't they code but not print until the last moment?
well, we have to, because we have to have RBM do it first. They have to code it. Then we have to send it to Runback, which is our company we use to print the ballots.
Right.
So they have to have at least like 2 days for them to do their part,
Uh-huh.
because we send them the information from RBM, and they have to do, whatever to
Well, I mean,
line it up with their program.
Whatever the time frame is for that, just say, don't send it to the next level until the absolute last moment.
Well, that's probably what we're gonna be at
Yeah.
anyway already, so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So,
But like Dennis said, if the Supreme Court orders it, then
We'll do it.
we'll do it.
And,
So I mean, that's what we have to.
but hypothetically, we send out the UOCAD,
I'd rather
and it
be
does not have that
on
race
the
on.
side of,
2 days later, the Supreme Court says, put her on the
What
ballot.
we've been told.
I would have, I just can't imagine them being that irresponsible.
Well,
So,
I mean, they know the deadlines, they know the lines, and everybody's gonna, if she goes to the court, assuming she does, I'm assuming that she will, they're gonna tell the court what the deadlines are.
Yeah,
So, I think the court will act.
is it costly for her, I mean, the candidate has to pay for this to
Well,
go
of
to the
course,
Supreme Court?
of course,
And it's cost, I mean,
absolutely. There's no free ride to that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe somebody will volunteer, but,
thankfully, I
What do you
had to go to
But it's a loss.
Come on, pro bono here.
well, there may be. No, you're right, there could be, but the filing fee would be hers.
I was gonna say, courts like filing.
Yeah, they do.
The clerks usually don't move till they see,
Until they see it, that's right.
at least that's been my experience.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, again, I'm just trying to picture, because I have 4 very smart people, 6 very smart people. So I'm just asking, what would happen if we send out the UOCAVA? It doesn't have that race on it.
Right.
We have to say it again, maybe, I don't know.
I have to send,
Have to say it again, that's all, that's all.
How many do we send out?
right, how many UOCAVAs do we have right
I
now?
think we have maybe 10.
Okay.
So what's the cost, what's the average cost for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
Well,
hundreds,
But the
you know.
overseas ones are
Columbus
expensive.
The overseas ones
Really
are
expensive.
really
So I think that's why.
It was like, I had to use, I had to put down $98 for FedEx. Now, that was for that crazy primary that they
If you're
told
gonna
us
do
we
something,
had to pay for.
Yeah.
do it now.
Yeah.
But, hi Caleb.
Howdy.
So, if 10 of them, are those overseas or are they
Some of them are
stateside?
both, there's some of both.
Yes, overseas, no, we don't have to pay that like I did have to a federal.
No,
Okay.
we don't have to send them.
Send it.
So, I mean, if it is, we just gotta do what we gotta do,
And
that's
the other
all.
thing
I
is,
agree, I'm just
all
trying to
those
think in my
human
mind how
conflicts
that
may not
works.
involve this race.
I think the Supreme Court will act
Yeah.
quickly, that's
Some
what
of
I
them would be
guess.
in the 95th house. and
They,
some of them-
I'm right, they're not gonna sit on
I mean, are they in
that.
session? I mean, they, obviously.
Yes,
Are they in
well, they're
session?
always in session if need be.
Oh, are they? Okay.
That's right. Yeah,
It's the worst thing.
I mean, this is not super complicated. It's not like they gotta do deep research.
I wouldn't think the secretary needed to either, but.
He watches TV and I think he sees me and he sees himself. Willie, come on.
Come here, baby. Come here.
But there are other correspondence there. We have the candidates for the ballot. I didn't print off what the sample ballot would look like, but if you guys would want that, you can have it.
It's highly likely we will have a front, back, and one page.
I thought,
Yeah, it'll be-
I thought it was gonna be big
Yeah,
So,
with the we got two statewide, right?
yeah.
yeah.
We got two statewides and we have,
And then there's.
I don't think anybody, well,
We got a bunch of levies, but they're not all, are there any county wide?
yeah,
That's why I had it here
electrical
today.
occupation.
Because they'll be wanting
We
to
need
raise
to,
it.
we need to vote on the balance.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got
You got that
that.
on?
Yeah, we're on there.
Now, one thing that Ryan did, I remember this last night when he told me, is that some counties are doing a 17-inch ballot.
Well, that's what ours is.
Okay.
Ours
He
is
said, we
17
use a
inch.
17-inch, because I think Defiance,
With the
one of those
stub,
counties,
with the
yes.
stub, it's 17 inch.
Yeah, with
ours
the
is.
stub. So he may already have enough on there from these other counties that all he's gotta do is just plug in our races.
Okay,
So that might be
to
good.
have a longer
Yeah,
ballot.
but
Or
I.
just to make it easier to code, you mean?
That's, yeah, easier to code. But he was saying that, I guess you can't, you have to have the issue all on the same page. Is that correct?
No, I think there can be, well, all of the same issue.
The
You
same,
couldn't have it continue, start on the front and continue.
that's what I
on the
mean.
back.
And so
Yeah.
that's the issue, is making sure that all of those are on, fitting it. It's like a puzzle.
Kind
And
of is.
fitting all of the issue on one page. So people aren't having to go back and forth and flip back and forth to
Confuse
We're
people.
missing part of it.
Yeah.
Now, that shouldn't have any issue with the freedom votes though,
No,
but with paper ballots.
Well, and the paper ballot's what we're gonna be discussing shortly.
Yeah.
yeah,
Regarding
so, and then,
that. If we just push that screen up.
maybe that's.
Yeah.
It starts at the table.
It's actually the camera.
It's the camera
Oh, it
on
went
the,
up to the.
Well, whatever one we're now frogging with. I go
The other direction.
Up to me.
Zooming in too.
Yeah, keep going, you're doing a great job.
Keep going.
You just
Maybe you
haven't
can
quite
zoom.
finished
Yeah,
the
zoom.
affair.
keep going until you don't see him.
You're warming up.
There you
A
go.
little further.
Yeah.
You're gonna see
Maybe
that.
that. Okay.
Where'd you go?
You know, they just get to see our pretty faces a little more.
At home, he's terrible, if there's a dog come across the TV, he just like erupts.
Oh, that's
I actually have a heart collar on him right now, that's why he's only doing a little bit now.
Best pets are fish.
Okay,
But there's a copy there of changes from the House Bill 140 that's there for you too, an advisory we got. And then in business, the ballot order numbers, that's on it.
It's on this sheet here.
Yeah, it's the long legal sheet. So I did, I took the numbers from 2018, which was our last election. So it has the number of people for each precinct that voted and what the turnout was. There's the number of registered voters. The one column says with CONF. That means with people who are in confirmation, which is what people who haven't voted for a while. So they're, because they're on a time clock is kind of what it starts. So those people haven't either voted for a while, they've either had mail undeliverable, or something like that. That's why they're in the confirmation status. And then the other column there, which I didn't change the year, it still says 2018 instead of 22. But that's people without those confirmations.
The Board of Education, they had the school.
That's right.
So that's just kind of informational. But then, so what I did is I took the total number of people who voted in 2015 or 2018, and then did that times, added 5% to that, so then you get the column in the plus 5%. And then what we've normally been doing is ordering 30% of those to be paper ballots. So that's what's in the column with the 30%. And then I ran that up to, because they do it in like 25.
Groups of 25, so you're doing.
Yeah, so then I changed, so in the order column, that's,
You might wanna increase Beltran
That's what
because
I was
they've got
just gonna
that
say.
school levy.
so I mean, that's something we could do if.
I think we should because
I
it's
think
gonna be
you're
a
gonna have a lot
big.
of
Just-
provisionals.
Just Belpre.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, I don't, no one, there's,
To that.
is there another school levy?
No.
No,
No,
they're the
so
only-
I don't agree, I would up that.
We can add another 25 or 50 to the order number to each of those, whatever you guys think.
I'm not even sure that's enough.
Yeah, we can even do more. We can't, we do have the ability to print more here.
Yeah.
Then we gotta run them down to Belpre, but we do have that ability.
What's the cost, does it cost more for us to print them here?
It is a little more, yeah,
I'm sorry.
Plus driving them over.
right, plus the cost of driving them over. But then, if we don't need to, then, depending on
Well,
how.
if you did 25 more, it'd be 200, oh, and these are all gonna be in the same spot.
Yeah, so
That's
they'll be
right, that's right,
600.
so that, yeah.
So a total for Belpre,
Thank you.
because it's all Belpre 1A through 4A, and
And
then
then
Rockland.
23,
Am I also correct that this number here, the first one,
Yeah.
554,
mhm.
does that include in-office?
Actually, yes, that one, because that was total.
So if 25%, because that's probably a low number, but we'll use it. So roughly 25% of that group are appearing here. They're not going to get a paper
They're not gonna go
ballot
to
from that
the-
stuff.
Right, they're just gonna
They're
punch.
gonna get a paper ballot off of a printer here,
Mhm.
or they're gonna walk in and use the machine.
Right,
So the actual number of people is 70% of that number.
right.
It's probably a legit.
Well, since we're
number.
consolidating, maybe we should rethink that, if we're consolidating. Well, are the ballots that 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A get, are they all the same? Are they gonna be all the same?
Those ones would be, but we really don't want to use another precinct's ballot
I
for
see,
somebody.
okay. All right.
Because that kind of throws off our numbers.
Well, I think you have to do
For tracking.
I'd do at least 25 more in each of those.
I mean, that's, I think a reasonable one. That's,
Because that,
the cost won't be, that much for adding those.
so even what you're saying,
And anyone with is Rockland also, are they about?
Rockland.
Yeah,
East.
Rockland East, a little bit of Rockland West is Belpre City Schools.
So we'll have to.
And a little bit of-
Increase, anything with Belpre left
I
school
would
levy should
add
be
another
increased.
25.
And a little bit of Dunham East, is Belpre Schools, so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So you think just do the 25?
25 in each-
For
in
each
each.
one that's part of Belpre Schools.
Yes.
So what that's gonna make is essentially 50% is what we're actually ordering. The number of people that physically come to vote. We're ordering 50% of that turnout.
Yeah, just every time.
I don't know, Beverly's got the big income tax on there, you might get everybody out of Beverly.
Well, hopefully they'll all vote on the machines, not extra paper anyway, but just in case.
Doesn't matter, I don't get to
Okay, so that'll be Belfry, and you said Rockland East
Yeah,
and Dunham East.
and part of Rockland West and part of Dunham East. So those are split.
And ironically, isn't that most of the 94th?
Those ones are
As
in,
well.
I don't know if Dunham East is now, I can't remember if Dunham would
Are you
be.
94th?
Yeah, you mean.
Yeah, but most of Belfry is, or Belfry City is 94.
It is 94.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decatur, Wesley.
I think Wesley's. Is Wesley?
Wesley
I can't remember if Wesley's.
Why
which
would
one.
they leave Bartlett out?
I don't know how they.
Why did they carve anything?
I have no idea, right, makes no sense, okay, but I know I am.
Yeah, okay. And we have two printers. I mean, if it does
Yeah.
get crazy, one of you guys will just have to run it
Or we could get a
Oh, we
sheriff's
could be
deputy.
shocked, maybe people won't show up to vote, I don't know.
Well, I mean, hopefully that you'll show up to vote, but vote on the touch screens and we don't have to worry about the paper.
So we need a motion to approve and increase these by
Yes.
25 each.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the ballot order numbers, but add 25 more for Belfry 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, Rockland East, Rockland West, and Dunham East.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, passes.
Oh, then, we had on there, the, EAP plan, I reprinted it without it showing the revisions, so if anybody wants to look at.
Dennis, if you could start signing the minutes,
Oh, yeah.
if you want to do that, and I can.
Do you need us to sign this?
Yes. If anybody wanted to look over it before they sign it, then. It's very similar to the one, because we do it every other year on an even number of years. It's very similar to the one, from 20, and then just with any changes they made that the state made for this year.
Does this have our new cybersecurity?
Yeah, it has.
A lot of
some
that, okay, so we don't have to update it after we get the cage and all of that.
Right,
That's
yeah,
good.
we won't have to update it for this one.
Okay, good.
When are you heading to those? When are you heading to those?
Friday.
Whether just these,
And there's 3 or 4.
oh, here's the last one. Ah, it's on the back side here. Okay.
And just, while everybody's looking at that, we have been receiving more public records requests.
What are we up to?
Aren't we lucky?
I've lost count of how many
Oh my
requests we
gosh.
have currently.
Are they still the same?
Some of them are, we do have a new,
Here, I got one here.
I was gonna say, did you have those ones I
Yeah.
printed for you yesterday?
Yeah.
There's,
I'll start it down with Charlie and we'll go
and
that
there's
way.
several of these now that are I do not consent, that are in the new one.
What do not make sense?
You know, I signed a piece of paper and went into the BMV, said I don't consent to having to remove my tags, and you know what, they were just like, man, you signed a piece of paper, you don't have to do it anymore.
Right,
They did it, yeah.
and you don't have to pay now
That's
for it,
how
or?
government works, is you just don't like it, so you don't have to
So
do
you
it.
just-
And one of these
Yeah.
requests came, you'll notice when Charlie gets done, that it's from a former poll worker.
This one's.
Well, that's hardly,
It's not a shot.
But I have this whole folder full of
Using
part of them,
any-
at least now anyway, if anybody wants to look at.
I think the county needs to hire a public requests person because everybody is getting.
Are other departments getting the same
I
thing?
understand the commissioners have, I don't know.
The sheriff has.
Sheriff
The
has.
sheriff has.
Well, I know every county
But they-
and board of elections
are
is getting those.
Oh, okay.
Which is, we're gonna have a Zoom meeting with the association on Monday. I sent that out to you. We only have so much space for it, so if anybody would invite Allison and Nicole, if anybody would like to come in here Monday at 9 and watch the Zoom meeting with us.
I'll sign it for it, pass it back.
These are
He's right.
These are public. request, so I'm gonna read this one into the record.
Okay.
To whom it may concern, this is sent by Molly Rose.
Dennis had to sign it.
Email is Peace Mama.
Dennis needs to find out.
To whom it may concern, as a resident of Ohio, I do not consent to any voting machines for the upcoming November general elections and any future elections. Elections should be held in person, with the exception of our fine military, with paper ballots and voter ID. Furthermore, I do not consent to any more, one word, elections until the voting machines are removed. Sincerely, Molly Rose, Peace Mama.
Well, that's not even a request, that's just,
That is an
that's,
email.
She's just notifying.
she's notifying us that, I guess she isn't gonna vote then.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Yes, that's.
and that's, there's several that have that same wording,
really,
yeah.
complete with the misspellings and the grammatical.
Yeah, one of them, these ones aren't all 100% exactly the same, but they're pretty close.
He has filed one previously, I remember that name.
Yeah, that person has. There was one that's very similar to the, that one by that Emily Rose, that said they want everything hand counted, no machines for any tabulation, but they want results the same day.
So did Dennis. So,
Dennis, you missed
They
one.
want results the same day.
Yeah, they-
Oh, they want results the same day, oh.
Go.
And hand counted,
Person
hand
buying
counted,
us.
thousands of ballots, hand counted, results same day.
He's one of those people that said that.
Consent to
One of them was a
what we
former
need to
Which
do
one? Oh.
in person, paper ballots, small precincts like we had in the
I
past.
thought I recognized that name, and that one was one of it.
She's sent several.
No
Public
mass
records.
mail-in
Green.
ballots,
Mhm.
clean voter rolls, no
Did you see
wheels
that,
passed
Shaggy?
around.
Yeah, I passed
They
it
are
down
not
there.
citizens
And-
do not
Was that
have the
different?
right to vote in
Yeah,
any
it's all the
election.
same thing.
I am sick and
Well, I
tired of
haven't
having
talked
my
to her
vote
personally. She
extinguished
called here and said that she wants.
by
to-
fake mail-ins,
We've already said.
dead people,
after
and
the last
illegals.
debacle,
We all
you
have
know, that
eyes
she's
on
not
you.
worried. So, I'm sure she's gonna scream retaliation.
They're not
Sure.
citizen, this is about the
I'm just
same.
gonna tell her, I'm sorry, you just sent a request saying that you only want paper ballots. You're questioning your system and I can't afford to have a poll worker and they're doing that.
Did you get to come?
So,
This is
okay,
the one who sent in the previous one.
yeah,
Person.
so now they want correspondence.
So Caleb,
And as far
all
as
boards
I
are getting
remember, we
these
didn't
now
have any
too, as far as the
Oh,
people saying only paper
Yeah,
ballots.
the funny single signature petitions, yes, everybody's getting those.
I hereby declare.
Well, I'm
I think we got them all.
Okay.
Now,
I would like to know the total number of these requests.
Yeah, I've started moving them, mostly they come on our state email, so I started a folder and I've been moving them over in there so I can go in and count,
Please,
you know.
because I want to start publicizing these. They're public
We
requests.
should let people
I
know
want
that this
people
is
to
going
know.
on.
Yeah.
What you guys have
Have
to
to
deal
deal
with, what
with.
a prosecutor has
That's
to
right.
deal with.
So, and I had read an article, it was on cleveland.com, there was an article about it where all our person from our association had sent out links to it and I had read one and it was talking about how everybody's being
So with our retention
getting all
records,
these.
we can't, because of these public record requests,
You
because
can't.
2020, we
You're done.
could have started getting rid of some of these, and now because of those requests, we cannot.
well, all the more reason to straighten up that back area and get rid of things. I mentioned to Mr. Weber that we're not getting rid of those plastic cases fast enough, and so he's gonna take care of that today. They'll be gone.
Did you ever hear, you sent the letter to the commissioners, correct?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
we never
I
heard
think
back.
we had to notify them,
Okay, okay,
and
that's
so we
fine,
notified,
that's good,
so they're gone.
okay.
And like I
And we
said, legal
still-
services will take every single
Yeah, we
one.
still
Well, we
have-
have
our
to figure
school
out,
also
Ryan
takes-
is trying to figure out, because the electronic
Yeah.
voting system, even though
Right.
Bryce and I wiped
And
every one of those machines
Make sure,
on.
you have to make sure that it doesn't have that in there.
And we
Okay.
have, so Ryan knows people at ES&S, so he's trying to figure out how we can take care of them, and then we'll just give them to the schools, to legal aid, to
Yeah, our
the
school will take
schools,
whatever.
to
Yeah, I think we'll
whoever.
split them up between the two of you.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
Rid of-
you'll need to get the cords, cause it's the old
Right.
Android cords, but
And while these guys are here doing that kind of work, you might have them start, I think, in our voting room, for lack of a better phrase for it. Because if they're putting up a cage
yeah,
and
we
whatnot,
need, yeah,
they're gonna
Clear
need
that
to do that, start moving stuff out,
Right.
perhaps just to do the work.
mhm,
And I think you are in better position to know where you're gonna put it.
exactly.
Or you don't have a place to put it, in which case we got guys who'll haul it to the trash. Because we need to get organized.
Right.
Because I have a feeling we're going to have lots of visitors for election. I think if you want to look like we're organized.
Right.
You know, perception, reality, all of that. Okay, voting, or no,
Security.
public records we done, security directive update, how we.
We're moving right along. Joseph and I have been working on the template. We've had to complete something last Thursday.
Good, yeah.
And we sent it in and got it back saying it was all fine. So I have the bids for the cages. I just need to submit them to the secretary, and then they will approve. We can still choose. I think who we're gonna go with is, was it
That
Uline?
Uline.
Uline.
Because it was really nice.
Yeah. So,
Right, we've used it.
And it is not the cheapest, but it fits our needs and has the roof on it, so.
Oh, good, okay,
So
yeah, I'm worried about
we think it's
that.
gonna be approved
Yeah,
because of that,
all right.
so.
And it was a decent price, it
Yeah,
wasn't like way
yeah.
overly priced or
Mhm.
anything, so.
These are our pull pad
Right,
carts. Once we get everything cleaned out, we can start using those, and those will probably be, either behind the cage, probably back there in
We'll
the
probably,
cage,
we'll
but,
put them in a double lock,
yeah, it'll be in a double locked.
Right, so all the more reason
Yeah.
to get that organized,
Exactly.
because they are gonna take up a bit of space
Right,
and so forth, so we need that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then we have you a copy of the voting hours. We are open 2 Saturdays, 1 Sunday and 2 Saturdays. And then there's a list there for you of the writing candidates that we have that'll be on this ballot. So we have for governor and then for US senator.
Okay. Now, where are we going to be early voting?
In here.
Yeah,
Was there a request made for the training room?
I have not made a request, but they have been using that more and more.
Right.
We have 8 of our booths, we fit comfortably in them.
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why we can't just stay in here unless you guys have any
Well,
opposition.
my only point is that they seem to be, you know, very willing to work with us and so forth when they talked about, you know,
Mhm.
moving, you know, giving us another room, et cetera. So I just thought it's worthwhile making the request.
I will,
In part, again, just so we can make the experience for the person as good as possible. If we have to use this, that's fine. But I'm just saying the other room would be larger and you have, again, the space to put people.
well, Dennis, if you go to the other room, what would they do? Would they come here
Yeah,
They have to come
and
down
register and then have to go all the way down the hall? I'm
right,
not
it's the
certain how much
procedure
better
that we've
is.
used.
well, that's what we did in
but
20.
You did that in
that's been a
20, okay.
presidential.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
And
and
if
that desk
we're-
wasn't out there either. We're gonna
well,
have to
that's
ask
true,
them.
we have to have them move that, because there's a desk in the
Right.
hallway now, they'll throw everything
Yeah,
in.
well,
There's been
yeah.
stored in there.
Certainly for someone with a wheelchair.
Yeah, that
want to
would
go back
work.
outside.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see. I know they've been doing a lot more foster parent training in there.
Right.
It seems like every time we have a meeting, there's
Yeah.
people there, yeah.
So
I do
My
when they
only
down,
suggestion
Yeah.
is, if you
I think
don't
that's what
ask,
I
I
like.
guarantee you they're not
Yeah.
gonna tell
Okay.
you yes.
all right,
And
I will
people just
ask.
go out this
I'm
door.
gonna give it to Ashton, and then
Flight, and Jamie both. These, lipstick.
So again, if they say no, they're, they've already got it booked, that's fine, but I would like to know that.
We will need, with having it out there, we're gonna need more, help as far as,
Yeah, we have to
ushers.
hire more workers.
We're gonna have to hire more workers.
Because
to help
I like the
there.
proximity to the counter if we have them put it here.
Right. Again, I'm just
Okay, we'll see.
looking for options, et cetera. I'm just wondering if we, with our moving and so forth, if we may not get a bigger load of people coming early.
Right, I mean, I do think, this will
I,
be
am.
more, we'll have more voters this
More
time.
discussion about what's too far to travel.
Well, it was in the paper and we didn't get, it was an abundant amount of calls about it. In fact, I don't think we
That's
got
true.
one call on it.
Yeah,
It was a nice
Strange.
So,
I thought it came out pretty
I
good.
thought it came out nice.
The article was nice, but the article below it, I had a question. It sounds like when we read that the folks from Waterford last heard from us shortly before Christmas.
Oh, the BOE, yeah, yeah.
I had talked to,
So what happened?
that's, I thought the same thing, because I talked to Doug. And, of course, there was the time there that we did go see it and.
And when was that time?
I talked to Doug,
I can't remember exactly.
Wasn't before
it
Christmas.
was
we
before
went
the May
crazy.
primary, because I went to his office. I talked to him at the May primary
Well, I know when you talked to him, but when did the four of us go visit
in
all
December,
those sites?
In December and January. We went over Christmas, it was like over Christmas break, I believe.
So Doug probably didn't communicate with the board, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
I missed it.
It was in the Board of Education article, Waterford had a Board of Education meeting, and that was also on the.
Yeah, they indicated.
And they
that we
made
had
some
contacted
questions, they said we hadn't contacted them. I'm guessing Doug just talked to the board.
I mean, I
That's the
personally,
way I read
I
it,
mean,
or understood.
But we
I
didn't-
saw him in the pharmacy, I told him, yes, I've seen him several times, so I was a little confused by that as well. But,
I think that was the Board of Education guy who said that though, not Doug.
oh, could be, I don't know.
I'm
But
not-
anyways, everybody's on board, Frontier, everything.
Well, when you say everyone's on board, have we actually communicated in writing?
Yes, I have, I
Yes,
sent
it's-
letters
And
to
if they
them.
responded in
I have sent a
writing?
letter to them and I emailed the letter to them. The only response I got back was from Fort Fry. And Stephanie wanted to know which building for sure we were using, and I said Salem Liberty.
Mhm.
Because you guys had met with the maintenance person. I
Yeah,
do want to
just-
stop out
just
there to see if they've been able to do
Do the
some of the
things that we,
things.
yeah, that they
It
talked
must have
about,
been an
right,
incredibly warm day in the winter
yeah.
when we went there. And it must have been on a day when there was no school, because it wasn't
I
a
think it was
car in
Christmas
the
break.
park.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Christmas break.
Because it was like the 23rd, I think, of December, it was just before.
Okay. Nice thing. I was just thinking it was sometime in the spring.
And you maybe went sometime again.
No, we did go again, we went again,
We went
I
to
went.
Matamoros, and then Glenn was on board then, and then Glenn came back and
Well,
he
we
needed
then
to
went
leave.
to the elementary school in Lower Salem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then
We
we
went
went
to the-
on around to Fort Fry.
And then we went to Waterford, we tried to go to
Waterford.
Warren, and there was a
Warren
mix-up, and
Wasn't there.
Kyle
Yeah.
was not pleased with me, because he said he had waited for us, where there was just a miscommunication, and I had the wrong cell phone number for him, so there was just a little mishap there, but
We're all good now.
the only other thing that we have, and I hope I have that email. Tony Huffman from Career Center has asked, we are interested in having extra law enforcement presence on November 8th. We'd like a deputy to greet all cars, direct voters to designated parking, and see that they enter the correct building, etc. Does Washington County Board of Elections have any funding to help pay for this? It's $35 an hour, and we will likely need 6 a.m. until 7 p.m., 13 hours times 35 is $455.
Do we pay the deputies?
No.
Since they're under our,
So that's what I need
No,
to
we don't
ask.
pay.
that's part of their job.
That may be, if they were to request it, that's
So
what
if
they would
we-
have to
if we
pay.
request it,
If we
it's different.
request it, they probably would just have to do it.
So I need to talk to the sheriff about this then?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to bring up for the
Ask
board to
why.
consider,
Because
Yeah.
to explain why.
I would
Yeah.
like a deputy at each voting location for the day.
You know what, I'm kind of agreeing with you, with
I've
all
just
of this
seen so
crazy that's
many
going on.
Of these
I think that's
things,
right.
I'm worried about people coming and how they're gonna be dressed and with the changes in the law
Well, with these
regarding
people,
firearms and everything else, I'm just a little bit concerned. Could we have folks that are coming out that are concerned about the elections and they're going to make voting unpleasant for
and maybe
folks
just
who are just showing up?
complain about the machines, I mean, we're getting all of these, do not consent, so they're gonna come and demand.
So that would be 9 deputies?
Well, there's, yeah, at least,
And
because
then-
there's,
We haven't had one up here for a while. When I first started, we had a deputy here.
Well, they
Well,
usually
that's
come
something we
in the
can-
evening.
yeah,
Mhm.
so that's something we can ask
And
about.
so again, that's certainly possible that we could suggest that whoever was at the fairgrounds or something
Come on.
could come here
Easily.
and so forth.
Would
Because
you
there might
like
be certain
for me to set up a meeting with the sheriff?
Yes,
Mhm.
I think it would.
I think that's
I
probably.
just, because again, and
Maybe.
maybe they have their ear to the ground and they're hearing things that some
But it'd
we're
be good to
not.
share that info and our concerns with them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would ask Tony for a little more explanation as to why, because if we're gonna ask somebody to be dedicated, they want them outside. And maybe it can be the same.
I think
Right.
traffic, because see,
Sign.
it's kind of congested up there anyways, school drop off and school release time. So I think just logistically, the traffic and helping with that.
but couldn't we get extra cones and, I mean.
Well, I was
I mean, I'm
wondering, or could we ask them to
Yeah.
prepare a couple of signs, larger
Yeah.
signs
or from the
that they can
Well,
do that say voting parking only, type
Yeah.
of a deal, at least in that
cones.
center section.
Mhm.
Where they've already said, because they ought to be able to alert their students and staff, we're gonna stay out of this part of the parking lot, we're not gonna be there. It's
Well,
gonna be for voters on Tuesday.
And remember, at the Career Center, it's just Pinehurst, so that's what, 3 precincts?
Yeah.
Three.
So, again, I'm sure a larger turnout, but I will talk to Tony. I'll set up the meeting with the sheriff first, so we can find, maybe he'll say, yes, I agree. All 9 places will have somebody.
And the other thing that Tony may be worried about is the wrong people going into the regular school building.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
And I understand
But
that.
my
Well, again, if
thing
we
is
have
he
a
wanted
big
to
enough
use
voting here
cities
sign,
to kind of help with that too,
hopefully
remember?
that will help.
So I will call
Put a
Tony
sign that says
And,
this is.
Yeah, and we could have maybe a poll worker that would.
and we can assign a poll worker that
be
to do
outside
traffic.
and make sure, not for traffic, but like to make
Yeah.
sure.
To make sure people aren't walking in the
Okay,
wrong
I'll
place.
get
Right.
them over to the right.
Yeah, because they all need to just, nobody needs to go towards the high
To
school.
watch foot traffic.
Yeah, everybody needs to go to that other
The
building.
first building on the right,
Yeah,
that's
the
where we're
first
Yeah.
building on the right.
Yeah.
So, but
Okay.
would you guys
Because
like to do?
what I really don't want is that all the other schools then say, well, we want someone as well.
You're right.
And then we have to have one person outside, sheriff's deputy outside, and the other person that we would like to have inside for the day.
Well, I can tell you, because I can envision Waterford having some issues too. Because of their buses come in, and I'm leaving, Doug has never said anything to me, but I'll talk to him about it and say, are you planning to have your buses come in that only one exit, which comes off that little side road, which is BB Hill? And have them instead of, and letting all voting traffic, we may need several ODOT message boards.
That's fine.
And they've been wonderful to work
They
with,
can
so,
stop harassing drivers and put up signs.
yeah. So yeah, I wanna talk, I think Newport, Newmack, they'll be fine, they're closed anyways.
Airport's fine.
Salem Liberty, you know,
The way that's set up and the way
Yeah.
they say they're gonna do it, I don't think
Yeah.
we should have any problems.
yeah, I
with
don't
that.
think we'll have any problems.
Yeah, they-
Belbury, I mean,
I
I
think where I saw
And Warren
Belgrade, it
is
seems like we're gonna be a world to ourselves, as we are at Warren.
And Warren will be
Yeah.
on.
Because I already had a call from someone worried about Warren, and I said, no, they know we're coming. So they're gonna, that spot, there's gonna be no
Everything else
parking.
can-
Teachers are the only ones,
Staff.
yeah.
They're gonna be
They're gonna
away
be
from
asked if
there,
they can-
that's
That's
going
right.
to, that'll be our, well then, that'll be plenty of parking. I went, I know.
good,
We went there,
good.
we got it.
So, yeah, if any of you are available to meet with the sheriff, I'll see what his availability is and I'll just shoot you a text and share something, but I'd like, at least a couple of you to.
Well, Probably, in addition, saying how many different public records requests we've been getting, the different places that we've been getting things from, just to show there's just this hub of activity, obviously.
Is it now a federal crime to threaten a federal, an election official?
I don't know the answer to that.
Do you know the
I mean,
answer to
it's a
that?
crime to threaten anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
But I don't
called
know that it's a
menacing or
federal,
aggravated menacing.
Because I know we're supposed to, I mean, we get emails all the time, about, election security and, if poll workers or election officials are receiving threats, that we have a duty to report, not just to local law enforcement, but to the Secretary of State, but also to, I think, the Federal Elections Commission.
Well, they were doing like a congressional hearing on stuff. I know you had an email for that. I don't know if it's still,
I just
they
want
still wanted
in case
anything.
somebody screams at me, I just want to be prepared to understand you're committing federal crime now.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I'll find out about that, but
Ask
yes.
Allison, because she
Yeah,
has nothing else to do.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
Right.
poor Allison.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I will talk to Tony and the sheriff about both of those.
Then I have their copy of our numbers, for our comments and
Yeah. I think we're good.
But these numbers will go up because of the Saturdays and so forth, won't they?
They will, yeah.
Are there any other items on the calendar that will come up before October 12th? Or are we gonna be in good shape, or is there?
We will have, once the RDM has the ballot put together,
We have to look at it.
Yeah, to approve that.
We have to do that before October 12th.
Right.
When do we have to do it by?
Well, ideally, it would be before the 23rd, because that's when we'll
Oh.
start sitting of September.
Right, and so they have to have it done by the 22nd.
Right, so we can send it out on the 23rd.
All right. Okay.
I did schedule, poll worker training in October,
Mm-hmm.
for 2 days. I don't have it in here. I think did I say the 12th and 13th?
I think so.
Yes, 12th and 13th is poll worker training.
And then our next meeting is scheduled for October 12th,
Mhm.
which we'd have to have down at the emergency operations
That's also early voting starts that day.
today, yeah.
I will not be here.
I'll be here on the 12th, but I will not be here next week.
Yeah, so if we need to change, or the 12th, I don't know if anybody wants to change.
I mean, I'm good on the 12th, but again,
For the ballot.
I knew there was that ballot approval.
Yeah, well, I'm gone, I'm in Canada.
Right.
So
I'll bring it up to you.
Zoom's not allowed, right?
So do you know when they're coming?
I don't think they want us to send them some of the information, so that they can go ahead and start it. So I'm not sure exactly what day they're gonna be here.
Okay,
Well, let's start with the notion that the last day we can do it effectively is the 22nd, probably.
So if you'd even wanna meet then,
So is there a time on the 22nd, three of us can get together? 7 in the morning or 8 at night, I mean,
I'm available on the 22nd,
yeah, so am I. Charlie?
But I didn't hear you.
22nd.
That's a-
September.
That's a Saturday, right?
No,
No.
that's
Thursday.
September.
Oh, September, I'm sorry. Wrong.
I'd rather do it in the morning.
Well, that would be fine with me, but I'm just saying,
That's a Thursday.
Right.
is that
It's
golf?
It's a Thursday.
As long as we do it in the
In the
morning,
morning.
Oh, yeah, then we're good.
We'll do it
Do you want to do it at 8?
Or
that would be better for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
8 o'clock. So you just tell RBM that that's when they have to,
Okay.
that's their,
Perform.
yeah.
they have to be done.
The night before.
And just we'll be rolling in at 8 to
Yeah.
do our thing. There you go. All right. And then we'll keep the 12th. I guess, the 12th is good for everyone.
Yep.
I won't be here.
Kadeen cannot.
Do we know what we'll be doing on the 12th? Is there anything that's,
I'm hoping you're approving
Earth
the poll
shattering.
workers.
Yeah,
Poll
and then that'll be
workers.
about,
I mean, we've always had that history, we wouldn't do anything really important without all 4 of us. So
Yeah,
if you're okay with the approval of the poll
If that's
workers
the big
and so forth.
item, yeah.
that's, yeah.
so I think that'll be
That'll be our
the,
big thing.
because everything else is pretty much already,
Just kind of pro
Said.
forma, and we may be getting announcements.
And I would tell you,
Right.
I'm getting calls every day from more people, particularly Democrats, so maybe finally people will realize
They're paying
that
attention.
Democrats
Yeah.
that are coming out to work the polls. So I don't think I'm gonna have any issues. I guess I need to talk with Mandy and then, because obviously with the consolidation, do you want to can we have such a thing as the voting location manager and then maybe like an assistant manager that was
The opposite party.
well, I can't use the opposite party. You have to use the party of which the director.
Oh, to be the manager.
Yeah.
And,
or well, it's based on governor,
Is it based on
Yeah,
that?
no, it's governor. It is definitely governor.
yeah,
Yeah.
by the
So-
precinct, if they voted for whichever party.
the problem is you typically have the backup person stands in when the other person's ill. So they have to have the same qualifications then as the
So they would have to be the
person,
same
so it
party.
has to be of the same party.
Well, all voting location managers are ours.
Well, right, so if we were going with deputies or whatever, they'd be ours if they're gonna step in when the
Yeah.
voting location manager is unavailable.
Okay.
My father-in-law's moving.
Do
So
we usually have an assistant?
we never have because we've had, each voting location just had to take care of those, so many precincts. Washington County, I'm not, Fairgrounds, Mike's got it. But I just thought that he could then have somebody that was a voting location manager at another place be able to be like his sidekick or whatever, backup. So I don't know, because we don't really have assistants or, anything, but I didn't know if we could pay
Are they gonna
for
be work-
2 voting location managers at each place.
Is the voting location manager gonna want an assistant?
Yeah, I was
Is there gonna
thinking
be
that
a little
maybe
bit
it'd
of
be
a-
better to let them select somebody they can work with.
You're not in uncharted territory with having consolidated polling locations. You could call around to other counties that have multiple precincts at a location and see how
Okay.
they handle it. Because it does change the requirements for how many total poll workers you have to have when you have consolidated precincts. So I'd ask other counties that have that,
Okay.
see what they've been doing for years.
But I would ask your voting location managers who they would prefer to work with. It's-
Yeah,
And they would probably have a suggestion of who.
Yes, who would be good,
Well,
because they know.
I'm
Right.
thinking right
And they may
now,
also say, I really would rather just handle
well, I
it
think we
myself.
need to change
Right.
Valkyrie. because of the issues.
Yeah,
we
there
had
have been
in the
issues
past.
there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So I do think we need to do that.
That was
Yeah, I
and
caused
the
Maybe complain
movement's
about
gonna
that,
take
yeah.
care of that because we're adding a couple other
Yeah.
places, so
Yes.
we're just
So
moving.
it's
So,
the right time to change things up.
And who I'm bringing into Belpre as a
Is there somebody who's been
Porterfield, I could not handle that.
okay,
But I do think there is a poll worker there that has been a leader for many years that could. They just don't happen to get along with the current person there, so it might cause some issues, but we're all professional here, so, you know. But Newport will stay the same, those are the same. Reno will stay the same, Washington County Fairgrounds will stay the same. Pinehurst going to the Career Center will stay the same. I'm assuming Shelby will come back from Beverly to do the Waterford one, Watertown, and then just Warren, Peggy Stowers has done Lighthouse, that's been a big voting location, so I think she'll handle that fine. So my concern probably is really Belpre right now.
Well, again, if you have someone in mind who's had some experience in one of our other locations,
maybe
you
that would
could
be a
ask
better.
them to, you know, if they'd be willing to, you know, travel from that point to that. you
Yeah,
know,
well, this
be a
is a
further
Belpre
trip.
person, so I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine.
Well, again, you know, it's sometimes good. Because what you want is the person who, you know, when nothing works, they're just calm. It's like, all right, we're gonna start over.
Yeah,
We've
and I think
obviously
this person would
done
be that.
something, you know,
I really
and not get all shook up and start calling that the sky's falling and so forth.
We don't have people like that.
Oh, no.
No,
No,
not at all. You
no.
know, and folks who, you know, again, can solve a problem when they see one.
Mandy, before you came into, I said that Sheila will be starting next week.
Yeah.
I've asked them to think of somebody, they thought of Kelly Cox from Belgrade.
I could see if she,
And so Kadim's gonna reach out to her.
okay, good. I
and
like
see
Kelly.
if she- Do you know what the starting pay for,
It was $9 an hour.
God, I know, can we?
Welcome to government,
I know.
welcome to government.
Okay.
It all depends on where in the government you are.
It's not clear.
I know, but. So,
I'll talk.
and then we will be needing to think of, and maybe poll workers would be a good place to start for people for early voting if we are going over there, so we have ushering.
Right, because
and-
we need to have coverage.
Jed was supposed to be here today. He said, he apologized. He's taking a well-deserved 10-day vacation. So I'm sure he'll be able to help. I think the delivery people, Chip has been working out, so I think we're good there. Excuse me.
And he can probably work the early voting too.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know, can't
Yeah.
guarantee,
So
but
when are they visiting the voting locations?
They hadn't talked yet to agree on a.
yeah, I
price.
haven't, yeah. But Jed's been out of town.
Right. Okay, but when he's back, he and Mike are gonna go visit them and
We're gonna ask them
do
to
all the
assessing,
back work
yeah,
and so forth, see about signs and so forth.
yeah.
Yeah, to check the tubs.
Right,
I would like to buy, the big blue tubs. Don't really fit through the doors well, so if we could find a replacement, I would like to.
you mean they don't fit
replace
through the
those.
door, you mean they're too,
Yeah, they're too wide, they're just barely.
they're like
too wide.
this and you don't have, your hands are only hit when you wait.
Yeah, I mean, your hands would be smashed. There's
They
no
have to
room for your
move it.
hands.
How do
They
you
have
want
to-
this?
Yeah, they have to open the lid and kind of try to,
Shimmy it.
yeah, shimmy it through.
How do you want this?
Yeah, it's technical term.
yeah.
Well, I'd say
I don't have a
so.
problem because again, they take up a ton of space.
What is it in Spanish?
And when you open them up, when you're at the polling location, they're half full anyway.
Yeah,
So it's.
I know, there's,
obvious they don't need it.
yeah, we just.
The one for the fairgrounds, I did look in it, and it's pretty full. And so they might need, of course, more extension cords now, because there's gonna be more machines there since there's more precincts there, but.
But it may be just as easy to take two small
Right,
ones
two
than
smaller.
try to
Yeah, and I don't wanna get
manhandle a large
too much
one.
smaller, just enough to, yeah,
Well, so you can get some that are longer,
yeah.
you know, so
They
that you have
might-
the same, you know,
Mm.
Same
space,
capacity,
just
yeah,
longer
just-
as opposed to wide.
Right. But I think if they go through and decide what they need and what they don't need,
Then we can kind of
then,
go
then
from
we
there.
can
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah. So,
And so forth. And have you found a new sign for the ODOT?
Not yet, I need to check on
The
that.
sign we had, you know, we have a sign that says Board of Elections that we put up in the ODOT grass. And they manhandle it when they mow. And they now
And
bend
it is a
it.
few years old now,
And
so.
it used the old, you know, these new voting styles where it's a plastic cardboard.
Mhm.
And so they have the slots and you slide
The legs
the
in.
legs up. Well, when the wind blows, it puts up no resistance whatsoever. And so my 2 cents worth is they ought to go with something that, get the smaller fence posts that you get at the Lowe's of the world that have the little, you know, hooks on them every inch.
Mhm.
2 of those, drive them down in, and it would be permanent, and ODOT would have to use a weed whacker rather than a mower for a month. I mean, like it's a real
What if we ask them to
travesty.
put a message board there?
Or it'd be
Yeah, well,
grand if
that
we
would be
could do
good.
one of those.
Yeah.
Again, I looked at it and said, there's actually room in their landscaping.
Mhm.
It
It's
would
just
be
down the
back a
street.
Yeah,
ways.
yeah, District
Yeah.
It'd
10.
be back a ways, but it would be in the landscaping and the arrow points in the right
That's
direction.
just for really good.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
only for early voting, we take it out, you know, or if we get one of those you can wheel in, said it's,
They now have a new deputy director, Rich Oster, excuse me, and, because Darla Miller retired, so I will call them, but I'm thinking if they would put a message board.
Hey, that would be good too.
anything that we
Anything.
can
That's
do.
electric, I
That would be more for them to
understand,
mow
so.
around.
Because once
Be
again, we
easier,
may be
because then they
attracting
can just-
more people who
yeah.
haven't voted with us
Yeah.
before because of the change in location.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make it easy for them to find us
Yeah,
and so forth. Because we have the other vote here signs that are along the way that point the trail, but that big one just,
mhm.
it needs to be a presence during early voting.
And I did talk to the commissioners last week, and Commissioner Booth was out, but he was the one that had asked us to at least look at Lowell. So thank you for doing that. I understand it was not. what we-
Just wasn't conducive.
Yeah,
It
There's-
is, yeah.
It just
Wasn't
wasn't
enough.
enough.
So, I'm sure we're gonna hear from some of them, but that's all right.
yeah.
I liked how the last meeting, how you talked about that, because I wasn't there, but when I was typing the minutes, they talked about Lowell being the most northern part of the county.
Right.
And it's as close for them to come into Marietta as it would be, you know, so really they have, and the Adams part of it is probably closer to Waterford.
Right.
Oh, it is.
It is, it
It
is.
is. Yeah, we looked at a map when we
Yeah.
were discussing it.
So I think we'll be all right. Like I said, we haven't received any complaints so far, but it's just been in the paper, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
and cards should go out next week, for those people,
Yeah.
for everybody. They're gonna be on a green colored postcard, which I had mentioned in that newspaper article.
Right.
So hopefully people
Hopefully
will be paying
folks are
attention.
Pay attention.
gonna watch for it.
And I have other copies, if anybody wanted one of the changes,
I would like one.
so.
Also,
Is this different than what you handed out last time?
No, I think it's the same, I don't know, I can't
Okay, I'll
remember.
bring it anyway.
Get two down
Because
this
this one,
way.
I added the address on there, I don't know if the ones you have this part has the address.
Thank you.
gosh, and I lost it.
We had been talking about Lowell, Adams, and then the address that went on the various voting locations.
I was.
Yeah, I think so. That.
Okay, I can't remember.
We have, a lot of different stuff, we have been getting a bunch of applications in for, people requesting absentee ballots.
They're behind
by
us.
mail. Yeah, so we have our, if you wanna look at them on your way out, we've got tubs full of ones that aren't done, and then our ones that are done, they're about equal now luckily, but, and then we get more mail every day, more mail every day.
Well, I mean, the Secretary of State sent it to everybody.
Yeah, so that's mostly what we've,
So-
mostly what we've gotten are the ones from the secretary.
So did Dwight, and then something about your gas pump, I don't know who
There
sent,
was
do you know who
another
sent that
group.
one out?
I never saw on them who's.
Yeah, I couldn't find
some
the group.
organization.
Right. Oh, that's what I remembered. I found a person for Kiwanis. So I'm gonna start trying to get to these meetings.
You know, actually, well, I think somebody already said Tony.
Yeah, Tony is
currently-
Kiwanis.
No, he's.
No, he's Rotary.
New Rotary. My
Yeah,
Rotary Club is too small to bother with. I can.
Okay,
I can-
okay, and you can do your Lions?
What, me do the Lions
Yeah.
deal?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just tell them about the polling locations.
We can give you some.
I talked to Diane yesterday, we are going to post the new listings in the courthouse, we can post it outside the law library, and I'm gonna post it by the Wasco vending area, and possibly on the doors if I can, if they'll let me. I don't know if the sheriff will let me or not. But we're gonna try, is there other agencies that you guys think that I should,
Or do
DGFS.
JFS,
okay,
just send it to Flag.
maybe community action?
Isn't
post
there a
it,
monthly, is it a monthly township meeting?
You know, if you had a flyer,
You know where
if
the-
you had a flyer, there are people who would send out flyers.
Yeah, now that we, because I didn't know the addresses.
Right.
I
Yeah,
will
you
come
guys
up with
must
or
be
something,
figured.
and it'll just be real,
Yeah.
where do I put?
Yeah.
And
We
we'll
were
just
amazed
have
we
this.
weren't.
Also, I have something
Yeah.
too, that I've stopped at the Republican headquarters and they aren't open, but Mandy told me they're open, what, Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Yeah.
I have some information with the polling information on there for them. They were supposed to pick it up for the fair and I guess they didn't.
Yeah, nobody came in.
So, and I put some outside the door of the Dunn headquarters.
You can give it to me if you want.
Okay, it's out in my car, I'll get it for you. So if you can take care of your, are you a new
I'm
Rotary?
morning,
Okay,
tell Tony to do noon.
and I can, okay, or I can.
Are you doing any other of the clubs that are outside of the
I'm
city?
trying, well, I know, I.
Belgrade
the
also
chamber
has
has a
some,
Rotary.
they have Rotary.
They have a Rotary?
Yeah, I was gonna
Yes.
say, I've spoken at one time,
I have too.
so.
The chamber is doing it on their blast,
Mhm.
whatever they do,
Mhm.
and they're putting it on their website. Washington County Commissioners are putting on their website. We've got it on ours. The guy we need to talk to, we want it flashing.
Yeah.
It just says polling locations.
I think he was saying there could be like a banner on the different pages.
Yeah, that's what we need. is
Belgrade
something.
also has a chamber.
Yeah, I do their chamber and
And
Muskingum,
Muskingum
Chamber, I'm gonna talk to
Don't they have a
Sam.
Civitan? I think they also have a Civitan, don't they?
They do.
We have a Lions Club.
I'm gonna get fat eating all of those lunches. Okay, Lions and Chamber, I can get with Karen, is it still Karen down there?
Yes, yeah.
And then Sam Skinner at the Muskingum.
Yeah,
Jeff Ingram and I was gonna take care of the Lions Club that I go to.
Okay, thank you.
Civitan.
Civitan,
I don't know who's Civitan in Belgrade.
I know,
Kelly Cox might know.
Kelly.
Kelly would know.
Yeah.
You're right, she would know.
If she's interested to work, have her just call me or Mandy and we can
She's
get
in one of
that.
those clubs.
I think
She's in the
Civitan.
chamber.
Is she, yeah, but I
She's
think.
in the chamber, but I think her service club, I think, is Civitan.
And I'm curious, this is to help inform people the polling location changes.
Yes,
So the old polling locations, will they have like notices pinned on the door on election day?
Yes,
saying
we will put
it's
those up.
changed?
yeah, I will ask the voting managers to probably put something up.
Because really in
Or the
those
delivery
counties, they
guys.
send out the notices as is required and then post the notices on the old locations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That
That's what we-
usually covers
yeah.
it.
And I've sent letters to the old locations, thanking them for their allowing us to use their facilities and they love you.
Some of them probably happy to get rid of it.
Yeah, they really,
I think St. Louis.
Well, that's what I was thinking of.
More like,
To get rid of us.
Yeah,
but I like the fact that some of these, I know most all of these schools should have something that they'll put on the floor, those rubber mats.
Warren said they had that.
Warren
I
does
know.
for sure.
It's up to them, I mean, if they
Yeah.
want it and they wanna use it, great.
Yeah.
If they don't.
Yeah.
Have we got anything from the Lower Salem Elementary School with regard to the fix on the sidewalk?
I need to go up there.
Karen said she was gonna go up
I'm gonna go up there and
there.
check it
I
out.
wondered if you could
Yeah.
just save the trip, you could take a picture
Yeah,
and shoot it
yeah,
to you.
Yeah, I could do that, but on my way home, I can just go
Okay.
up there.
Well, you're good with it, but,
Yeah.
you know, if you want.
What were they doing? Was it just on that?
Sidewalk.
Smoothing and sidewalk, and then they were going to
Transition.
make the edge smoother.
Like the thrust.
Cause it was just a little,
Now, do we need one of those bridges that you put on the,
Not,
yes,
Take
the
care of the
threshold,
door. I don't know if you checked
threshold,
that.
at the threshold, he was
Yeah.
gonna put a spacer in there because
he
there
was
was
gonna
a,
do something there to fix that.
yeah,
okay,
I think he'll take care of it because he's got a wife that's
yes,
on disability, so
Yeah.
he understood.
yeah.
Okay.
But if you were to give them a week's notice that you were coming out,
That would,
Get it done.
okay.
that would be
I-
given
I-
a nudge.
I
That would
will
be the
contact,
better.
Mr. Haynes
You
and
know,
see if
just,
we can
you know,
do that, yes.
That's the
rather
nudge.
than show
Yeah.
up and,
Yeah.
you know, gee,
Yeah.
what happened here, you know? It would get-
Yeah, but
So-
it was to smooth out, what happens when you come down that concrete at where the concrete then hits the parking lot, it was kind of rough and
There's
not
major cracks.
even,
Mhm.
and he was gonna smooth that out, and then the threshold, those are the two spots,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So, just so
Yeah,
I
and then
know
we have to
too,
work out the door, cause I think it was, it'll be a door that stays open
Yeah.
somehow, cause if I remember right, it was like an automatic lock system or something, I don't remember.
Yeah,
There was
we talked
something
about-
peculiar about it.
Yeah, but didn't we talk about we could tape it or something, so we could do that, yeah.
Yeah,
getting your noon road, morning. So you'll take care of morning, and I'll talk to Tony about, yeah. noon. And, Kiwanis, I got a name, I found,
You
Randy
guys
gave
did
me a name,
holiday.
pardon me?
Yeah, Halliday,
Such Halliday.
John is a Kiwanian.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay, and then no one knows when Belpres are though, right?
I do not
I don't
remember.
remember.
I just know that they have them, I've talked to
I
the,
don't remember.
I talked to the Belfry Lions
Spring.
before.
Or kind of like February.
Beverly has
17.
Lions too.
I mean, I could be wrong,
No,
but.
Okay.
no,
Okay,
I just might text you and say, hey, can somebody go to
Pancake
this meeting and just give an update?
that'd be fine.
I've only went to one.
When are you back, Robin?
The Monday
100 years
after, what is that?
It's not my,
The 26th?
Yeah.
not my shtick.
27th or 8th?
27th is a Tuesday.
Well, then it'll be the 26th.
Okay.
But, I may be coming back,
Yeah.
maybe coming home on the 26th.
Okay,
After
okay,
that.
that's fine. All right, I think I got everything else, yeah.
And I think I've run over everything.
If anybody wants to join that Zoom meeting tomorrow, or on Monday, it's at 9. We're meeting with the association to talk about the public record stuff. And like I said, Nicole and Allison, I think are gonna come here and join us.
When?
Monday at 9 a.m. We also, if you haven't done your cybersecurity training,
I think I did.
I have to get mine
Yeah, I think
done.
you did.
Didn't
I
I?
got one.
You got it, you did,
The other
good.
day that said who has not done it yet, so I can look at
Can you
that.
check? 'Cause
Yeah,
I think I did
I can look
months ago.
for
I got an email.
I did. I think I did it
I haven't
while
done
during the
it.
conference.
You did.
Did it months ago.
I know,
I'm sure
yeah.
Charlie, you still need it too.
Oh, I did it.
Oh, you did yours now? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't get on for the longest time, then I tried again, and they let me on, so I said, I better do it now.
Yeah.
Did you
Did you get your one for State Farm done?
Number done, yes.
You had to have it done by your birthday?
Yeah, it's done, it's done. I haven't gone to the city, get my license renewed yet, but I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we
so
done?
we'll meet you next Thursday at 8 a.m.
Right,
Okay,
short meeting. Okay,
adjourn.
Motion to approve, to adjourn.
I'll second it.
any further discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Good deal.
Also, I just want to thank you all for the beautiful chimes that you got me and my husband after Jay's mom's passing. They were beautiful. The staff came up to the funeral home, and thank you for your prayers and support.
And your father-in-law's moving down? That's quick. No, it's not happening?
I can't give him.
Oh,
I asked him, there's a house right behind me that was for rent.
Oh.
my goodness.
yes, it would be.
And he said, John, I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, what Jay and I do, is on a new house. We're moving down on the other side of Beverly,
How are you?
all one level, with a 30 by 60 building.
But then he will move in with you.
If he would have to,
Okay.
but
He'll be set.
he's gonna have to be comatose before he'll move in.
Just one.
I understand.
Whoa, when?
Stick it with you if you want.
Who are you going with? Is it a group?
Whereabouts and whereabouts?
South Africa.
See, Scott and I were just talking about that last night, and we were saying, but if it's bad here, it's gonna be much worse there. But
What?
with COVID and all that other stuff, you know. Well, you'll have to tell me, because
And you're
We need to
saving
redo
baby
ours.
elephants?
Well, not family, a family. We have to move them in families. There's
Yeah.
not this
That's
not a
right.
no shoot animals farm. This is a relocation.
I know she's gonna waste.
So
No,
we're
I need
moving
8.
14 to 16 elephants and 2 lions from one reserve to another.
honestly, that's
When you go
exciting.
around
I'll
the
tell
fall,
them
I
I
do the
will.
same thing. I moved the family of deer from the woods to.
Hey, Lily, what are you doing? Let me go get that. Oh, I just,
It says
this thing.
that you need to do the training spell and.
I'll go get that for you.
No!
That's something.
I don't know.
By when?
You probably, did you do the one that talked about what were they
They're all
had the
the
funny
same.
names? I know they are.
Yeah,
What said
By when?
and I can't read the
the
names
October or
messed up.
something, I think. Said we had, let me see, it said 53 days from when I looked, from when the email was sent.
Well, I'm just gonna carry you, Willie.
I
You're
guess
just
my
so-
goal is to get you guys, set up. I was gonna ask if anybody had any questions or anything.
Your Willie's cheese. thing.
Little,
Whatever it is.
the yak cheese.
The yak cheese.
Ready to go, Willie, are you? Huh? Yeah, you wanna go. This is boring. I'm gonna get.
This is just kind of different voting locations
Okay.
and more, so. So if they need any more, just have them call me and Andy and I'll bring some.
You know, DJFS, they send out things monthly to people. And in the past, they have included flyers.
Have they?
Yeah, so you might wanna ask them, maybe Flight would send out
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, if we provide them,
Uh-huh,
you know.
because they mail stuff every month.
We actually have more blue than we have red.
Because we have numbers.
The only thing is they have our phone number.
Yeah.
But I think
When do you leave?
Flight would do that.
How long is the flight?
And the last time when I flew straight, it was 18 hours.
I was 23 hours on the plane to Australia.
I was just about that for last weekend.
Well,
Yeah.
I remember when I got off, my friend looked at me, looked at Scott and go like, are you all okay?
You know, my mother has pictures of me since I was 18 or 16. I slept, you know, because the time you know how kids can just sleep. And she has pictures of me sleeping in every airport we went to because I was just like, carry my suitcase and go down. But yeah, but now I understand there's a flight, I think, out of Dallas or Houston that goes straight to Sydney. So, yeah. I'm heading back. I'm going to see my Australian exchange sister tomorrow night. She's in the country, her daughter lives in Minnesota. So she's been in Minnesota, so then down tomorrow, so. I'm looking at my trip. I want to see Fiji while I'm over on that side of the world too.
Well, this was at, Alaska, part of Alaska, I think, my friend called me. You're trying to sell me a timeshare in Namibia, and all.
Okay.
He lives in Sudan, Kenya. He's from Alabama, he's back. One of the friends He's just hired to teach you
Is this different from just pictures or?
Lily.
It's always so on there, so it's.
I thought it was like that. I actually am going to it. Lily comes in, I keep saying it. The pizza I gave you, he went over to the door and ate it. I broke it, because they're like this big. Straight big, like.
Well, it's different than what it's had before. When you decide.
Yeah.
Now it's.
It's a little
So, but the elephants, you have to
Peanut butter,
provide
but they're
their
all-
foot, right?
all.
Oh,
Start
they're-
they're in peanut butter,
Oh,
yes.
really?
Okay.
Oh. How many miles across the?
I wouldn't. I really don't know.
So which area are you living in?
The marina from, is called Tacoma. That to other camp.
That's crazy. There's so many things that happen chicken.
Yeah, that's where,
Well,
as
and
far as
Cape
that was, in Cape Town.
Would have some trouble with his skin. And we
So
started
you plan on
using
going to
sand.
New York then? or?
Man, and that helped, yeah. And then, cause we had tried to get the kind of the, like, 3 or whatever, kind of like a, you know, that made it worse.
I know what that's.
So it didn't make it better with the sand and stuff. I thought, like, yeah. And then we kind of went
Yeah,
together.
we were talking, just last night actually, we were talking about, well, we need to get back onto our trip and get that all put back together.
We did that when we went to Australia, when we went Buffalo hunting. Yeah, in the outback. And, you know, we were staying in little shanties and so much stuff. So much stuff. But I mean, you know, my family's farmers and so they love it. But they get the big Subarus and you had somebody out on the cage, you know, and they had a lasso and you kind of catch the buffalo. It was like, it was unreal, it was. All right, is that all we're gonna do? There we go. Did he find his little hoochie chickie?
Yeah,
You got it?
I got it.
He's good. What is it?
See you guys, bye Caleb.
Hi.
Robin, have fun fishing, bring back some walleye.
I will try to do that. Hopefully I get a big muskie.
Yes.
Called a month or so ago about looking the ballots that were out in Pennsylvania Township. You know, would sell alcohol.
Oh, where's that from here, yeah?
Yeah, Marion.
I would love to see, sorry, I have to do it, I'd love to see if I can find any, droppings that are on the card. And let's see, you know, really